Arena tonight. We're glad you're here with us for what's going to be a competitive matchup between the 12th ranked Tigers and the Auburn Tigers with Dane Bradshaw, the former Tennessee captain. I'm Kevin Fitzgerald. Dane, Mizzou, like I just said, they're 12th in the country, playing their best basketball in a decade. Auburn, on the other hand, I think the 9-7 record is a little misleading, as the secret is out on Sharife Cooper. This five-star freshman is totally dynamic and has energized this Auburn offense.
Yeah, he's become appointment television in college basketball. This guy's a sensational passer. He sees the court so well. But on the other end of the ball, you've got the Missouri Tigers, who have such experience and depth. They returned 97 to 98% of their scoring from a year ago, and it's shown, especially in a year with the pandemic, when experience is more important than ever. There's a reason this Missouri team is number 12 in the country and rising. Outside of Alabama, they've been the most consistent team in the league.
I think we nailed our scripts in the third try there. Let's take a look at Auburn's season this far. 9-7 overall. They started league play, Dane, 0-4, but have won 3 of their last 4. Of course, aided by the addition of Sharife Cooper. 109 points on Saturday against South Carolina, the most against an SEC opponent in 21 years. And so, yes, the young Auburn Tigers are a team that you might want to buy some stock in, at least now. They seem poised to keep rising up the SEC ladder, no?
Yeah, their record's deceiving. You're right. And yes, they have the youth. And they also have the self-imposed postseason ban, but you wouldn't know it by watching them. If this is a motivated Bruce Pearl team, because while they might not have their March postseason hopes in a typical year, everything they came to Auburn to do individually and as a team can still be accomplished, albeit not in this particular postseason. You watch this team play, they're extremely hungry. They're extremely motivated. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup, who's not. This team comes ready to play, and they're a handful.
Bruce Pearl outlined it to us earlier. They didn't hang their heads. There was no moping after the 0-4 league start, no complaining. They just continued working with the understanding, hey, we're going to get our soon-to-be star Sharife Cooper at some point.
He's appointment television. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet. We weren't sure when we were on there, when we were off there, on there. So if I repeated my same line, sorry, but you'll see. It's worth repeating. This kid, too, in white, can play.
Dane is not going crazy. Well, after the technical foul that was assessed to Devin Cambridge, as you mentioned, Missouri only gets the free throw and nothing else on the offensive end. You know, the ball is just going to be in White's hands seemingly all game. He's playing close to 35 minutes per game as well. Johnson with a wild 3. Tillman lost it.
I'm a little surprised they didn't call that foul. It looked like they ran into the shooter there. I didn't think Johnson flopped too much. A 3-point threat, but can also pull it up from 2. Comes off this curl, and usually if you run into the shooter like that, don't give him a good spot to land, you'll get called for it, but Drew Smith dodged it.
You heard the ire of the little south of 2,000 in the building. That's about 20% capacity at Auburn Arena this year. That agreed with you. Akingbola picks up the dribble. That's a long 2. Cooper had the foot on the line. Pinson back into the game. Missouri off to a little slow start on this side of the floor. And that shot blocked by Williams. Cooper attacking. Excellent feed. Akingbola's open.
There's nobody in the SEC I've seen that can drive in the lane and draw 2 defenders better than Sharife Cooper. And then know what to do with it when you do have that opportunity. Such great, quick instincts.
Remember, this is just his 6th game. Pinson with the floater. There's the junior
to make Chicago. A few of those. Yeah, he's been good. He's got to keep getting to the basket, try to get himself to the free throw line, and know that this is an Auburn team that's one of the best shot blocking teams in the country, so it's not going to come easy.
Already a couple of blocks in the early minutes. Free throws for Cooper coming.
He's so good. You just can't keep him out of the lane, and it's too tempting to come over and help. But if you're Wilmore 32, you can't come help if Pickett's got him. You got to resist that to stay on your man. And then Pinson with a beautiful floater. And that's where they really need him at his best. Yes, he shot the three well against Tennessee. But when he's attacking the rim, north-south, getting to the free throw line, that's where Xavier Pinson can be one of the best guards in the league.
You blink, Dan, all of a sudden, Bruce Pearl has been at Auburn for 7 years. 3 straight 25-win seasons, the final 4 2 years ago. He's also the latest guest on the critically acclaimed Big Volin podcast. I'd ask you what's your best Bruce Pearl story, but I think I heard it. What was this, like Gladiator, Russell Crowe-esque spectacle in Baton Rouge your junior year?
Yeah, the fans wanted, they said we want Bradshaw at the end of the game, and I was expendable, so he said, "Is this what you want?" and walked me to the scores table, and they cheered loudly, so.
It transitioned to two-hand stuff. As Jordan Wilmore has only played in 4 games this year, as Missouri back within 2. I think John Brady gave that the thumbs down, by the way.
Yeah, he did back in the day. We weren't making a lot of people very happy. We created a few enemies back then.
Auburn, 33% shooting from the field, just 1 of 6 from deep, but with the 2-point advantage. Now Cooper breaking down. Pinson flew by Wilmore. That was easy.
Well, I know Coach Martin is trying to get Wilmore some minutes, but that's just not going to be a position that he's going to have success in as a big man, trying to move his feet against the fastest player in the SEC.
In the corner, Chris Moore. That's good. Moore nearly forced the turnover. And Missouri seems a little sped up and discombobulated. Mitchell Smith open. Mark Smith found it, but Akingbola with another block. Now it's Cooper. Errant pass and got it back. Moore wants another. Caught it!
My goodness, even when he does a bad pass, he gets it back and makes an assist out of it. Missouri tries to get them things going here in transition, but the Auburn Tigers have been tough to keep up with, and this is the pace that Auburn wants. Yes, Missouri gets the bucket there, but if you try to run with Auburn, it's going to be a problem and a long night as the Auburn Tigers up big early.
College basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com. 10-point lead for Auburn. The Auburn Tigers could not have asked for a better start against 12th-ranked Missouri. Dan, you were talking about Cooper's playmaking abilities. How's he doing it so far?
Well, he gets in the lane. When he draws the defender, he gets him in the air. And the way he can see the court in transition, he's got the look away. And then this is a lefty off the bounce in a critical moment in the game for the lob. We looked at all of his assists so far on the season, and it's pretty remarkable. 71% of his assists are for lobs, dunks, layups at the rim. And you wonder why Auburn's shooting such a good percentage from 2. That's it right there. This man is creating easy buckets for others. If you move when he has the ball, the young man will find you.
Hey, that's not we. You crunch the numbers. Well done there. 4 assists already for Cooper in 8 minutes. And he has it after the Missouri miss. Tigers are cold, 3 of 14 from deep. And it's an 8-0 Auburn run. Cooper, baseline, switches hands. Tip back in, and Moore, I think, is going to get credit for it. If so, he's got 8 points. Now Mitchell Smith, not a great 3-point shooter. 3 of 20 on the year, and the error compounded. It's a foul on Javon Pickett, his first.
I don't like it, Kevin. I think you got to slow this game down if you're Missouri. And Conzo Martin, I'm sure, is imploring his team, look, I've given you the freedom to play faster this year, but we got to understand when it benefits the other team too. Take your time, get the ball down low, try to get it from 2. You see the work he's been able to put in at the University of Missouri.
Yeah, the East St. Louis native clearly has his best team at Missouri. They're 10-2, ranked 12th in the country. And this is the best iteration of Mizzou Tigers basketball in nearly a decade, and they were winning Big 12 championships. Been through some hard years. Martin's got them competitive again. Tonight, down 12. Not even 9 minutes into the game. Down and out for Jalen Williams.
This has not been Missouri basketball in this first 10 minutes. The most dangerous Conzo Martin team is an old veteran club, and that's what he has right now, but they're going to have to show it before they get too big of a hole.
No question. This is Drew Buggs. Seldom used off the bench. He rarely shoots. High off the glass. Drew Smith misses. Williams pushing. Cardwell's open. And that's another foul on Missouri. That is the 7th team foul. And Dane, bonus free throws for Auburn for the remainder of the first half.
It just feels like on the offensive end, Auburn's able to get where they want to on the court. They're able to get mismatches. They can reverse the ball. They're beating Missouri down in transition.
Which is different from Saturday, when Mizzou came out as the aggressor, defeated the previously 6th-ranked Tennessee Vols. And Dane, they led wire to wire. An impressive showing. Tonight, the opposite sort of start. Buggs leans in, that's good. Mizzou winners of 4 of the last 5. That victory against Tennessee, it's 3rd against a top 25 ranked team. And a win that was particularly satisfying, I would say, for one Conzo Martin. There's JT Thor, very versatile. A freshman from Anchorage, Alaska, already with 5.
Drew Smith, one of the better defenders in the SEC. You can't get blown by the freshman JT Thor. You're shorter, smaller, quicker. Can't let the big man take you off the bounce.
Drew Buggs, yeah, he had to hit that one. He had his man on the ground after the cross-up, but he missed everything just about. Tillman bats it away.
There you go. That's good defense by Missouri. See if they can't turn it into easy offense.
Mark Smith earned some free throws.
Coach Martin wants to see more effort on the defensive end, and this is it. Jeremiah Tillman doing a great job getting in front of the post-entry pass, and that's where you want to attack the basket, play fast when you have numbers. But when it's just a 5-on-5, no advantage, disadvantage, that's not what I think is best for Missouri in a game against the Auburn Bruce Pearl Tigers.
A senior from Edwardsville, Illinois, makes it a 10-point game again. Auburn has certainly been a better offensive team than on the defensive side this year. Tonight, flexing its muscles defensively. Alan Flanagan feeds 4, nails another 3.
He's really been playing well as of late. Really, his last 7 games, he's about doubled his productivity from the first half of the season.
Very impressive freshman class. Thor, a big reason why. And he had 9 points in the first half. The tall, lanky freshman. Tillman follows with a bucket. He hasn't had too many touches on that end of the floor yet tonight. Alan Flanagan works off the Cardwell screen. Loads it up, missed. And that's a foul on Auburn. That's Cardwell's first.
JT Thor off to a hot start. His second three of the game. Like I said, he's expecting and he knows where to get the ball. And I think that's led to 2 nice-looking three-point shots for him. It's within the offense, 9 early points. And you see the freshman class that Bruce Pearl's been able to put together with Powell, who's still out this game with concussion protocol. But, man, he was a bright star early in this season. Top-rated player out of Kentucky.
He had to fill in, like a few other guards, for the injured Cooper, Cooper being ineligible for the first 11. Tillman has some free throws coming.
Number 23, Jalen Williams, his first.
So that's the first on Jalen Williams. Tillman playing his best basketball of late, and the numbers in the bottom left, scoring close to 17 a game over his last 5. What is it? Konzo Martin was saying he's just at peace, he's more disciplined, not putting the pressure on himself like he did in his early years.
And all those things are correct, but it's also about staying out of foul trouble and keeping your butt on the court. I mean, his minutes per game are the highest they've ever been, and I think in large part because he's learned how to play smarter and stay on the court and give himself a chance to get in rhythm, get in a routine during the game. And I'm really happy for Tillman because he's had a tough few years in terms of just roller coaster.
Alan Flanagan, that's his first bucket, and from guess who? Sharife Cooper.
And that's the 5th lob we've seen Cooper attempt this game. I think 4 of them have had success.
That's incredible. Dane, 8 assists on 11 made field goals already for Auburn. I'd say, does this surprise you? But knowing the Auburn recent offensive firepower, I don't think it is. A 12-point lead for Sharife Cooper's Auburn Tigers. Made a visit to the National Memorial for Peace and Justice in Montgomery, Alabama, about an hour away from Auburn. It's the part of the Legacy Museum which educates its viewers on the history of racism and segregation in America. Of course, here's some of the images of Missouri's visit. Montgomery, Dane, in a lot of ways, the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement in the 50s and 60s. And, you know, Konzo Martin, outside of basketball, he spent much of his life leading the ongoing fight for social reform, for full racial equality. He's one of the most respected voices out there from all of his coaching peers. He's an educator, clearly, as well as a coach, and continues to set the example for his players.
You put it well. I mean, he embraces his opportunities much more than just a coach. You can tell every time you talk to him, he feels like he has such a purpose in his life, well beyond basketball. He's talked about, you know, even after coaching and plans and how he wants to give back and be involved and continue to do things off the court. And I know that every player that's played for Konzo Martin is a better person because of it.
He was a voice who a lot of coaches reached out to, particularly this summer. They actually drove to Montgomery from Knoxville after their Saturday win before continuing to Auburn, with Montgomery, the capital of Alabama, being just down the road. Even Konzo said, a lot of the players were speechless. I was as well. There was not much I could say after the trip to my team. Jalen Williams misfires.
One of the most interesting takeaways. Sorry, Kevin, but he said usually after, you know, a trip like that, he'll bring the guys in and say, hey, what are your thoughts? Let's talk about it. He said, we were speechless. And but I tell you where he wasn't speechless, and that was during the timeout. He's drawn up 2 nice looks for Jeremiah Tillman. One was over the top. They found him a little late on the lob pass, but he gathered himself. And here he is now getting to the free throw line. And, you know, it's funny. Once you start playing under control and you don't have the hack reputation of a fouler, all of a sudden you start getting a little bit better whistle. And I think Jeremiah Tillman's benefited from that.
And this is the potential for the three-point play. So for Mizzou offensively, it's, hey, a little less settling for threes and get the ball inside a bit more, get to the free throw line. Cooper, the dish to Flanagan. That one was swatted away.
But that's exactly what you have to have. It's got to be a help the helper. If you're going to come help and stop Cooper, then you better drop down and help that helper. And that's exactly what Missouri did. See, he makes a great dish there. But then the backside help comes in to recover for the original helper.
Loose ball foul on Auburn.
Number 23, Jalen Williams.
That's the second on Jalen Williams.
In the game for Auburn, number 13, Babatunde Akimbola.
Bruce Pearl has watched a lot of defenders look helpless guarding Sharif Cooper. He mentioned to us he's, no question, got the best instincts and vision. He said he sees the floor three-dimensionally as many other college players only see it two-dimensionally.
Well, and he's not just the highlight pass. He also knows how to hit the single and make the right pass in transition. But more times than not, it does end up on a highlight reel. However, right now, I like the way Missouri has responded in the past couple of minutes. They've slowed the game down. They've gotten it inside. Early on, they had taken about half of their shots from three, and that's just not where their strength is. They got to quit taking the bait.
And they are doing what you are asking them to do. Now 7 out of 10 from the stripe. And we're down by 14 a few minutes ago on a 6-0 run. And Cooper ends that. Just a seamless transition into live competition. The addition of Cooper, and he wasn't ineligible. The NCAA just took until January 9th to sort out his eligibility for this year. So he's only played 5 games. But look at the numbers. Already a pair of double-doubles in points and assists. Mark Smith, he absorbs the contact, and Akingbola, terrific defense going straight up. Auburn scoring 12 more points a game with him in the lineup. He's got a 3, short. Now Pinson. Foul.
Nice job by Pinson, and that's where you want to take your opportunities, push it up the court. Quiet so far in this game after having a, can't call it breakout because the whole SEC already knew this guy's name, but a bounce-back game for sure in Knoxville, where he was a huge reason why the Missouri Tigers led that one wire to wire and never let their foot off the gas. And he's a real problem. I mean, he's hard to stay in front of. He's so wiry, he gets in the lane. He has terrific hang time at the rim to where it's like he goes up at the rim and waits to see if you're going to foul him, and if you don't, he'll just kind of lay it up on the way down. Really nice body control.
Eight to 2 Missouri run. Look at that feed. Thor couldn't finish it, but the wraparound with the left hand. Now it's Pinson. Looking to do some more damage. Missouri was down 14 a few minutes ago. Got it back to single digits. Oh, Tillman, he missed it.
As my coach used to tell me in those positions, whether it's a layup or a teammate with a missed dunk, I can't get you any closer than that. Konzo Martin can't draw up a better play than this, and you did all your work early. You got deep post position. Tillman missed a couple dunks in the previous game. He's got to just figure out a way to throw that thing down. Won't get an easier opportunity than that.
And so, gosh, to add insult to injury, yeah. It's a technical on Tillman because he hung on the rim. I mean, geez, you'd think, hey, how about some sympathy for me?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you just let that one play. You know, get the ball and go the other way. The damage was already done. Enough penalty off the missed dunk.
It's Auburn by 8, winners of 3 of their last 4. Certainly the rising team in the SEC. Missouri coming off of a great week. Wins against South Carolina and previously 6th-ranked Tennessee. We figured this would be a compelling one. And a whistle on the drive in. That may be an offensive foul on Cooper.
That's big-time defense by Pickett there. I mean, Cooper looked at that. I mean, he had the ball screen. He waved it off because he had the matchup he wanted. And Pickett man's up here and ends up getting, they call the hook with that wing coming out on Cooper. So nice job by Pickett stepping up on the opponent's best player.
So if there was a time for Missouri to attack, it's now, because Cooper's on the bench with 3 fouls. Off the Pinson miss, it's Flanagan. Brings it up for the Tigers. Probably not seeing him.
Yeah, we haven't heard Flanagan's name much, but he's played a lot of point guard. One of the most improved players in the SEC.
Nice look, and he hits Javon Franklin. It's contagious.
Right on cue. Flanagan does not flinch when they give the ball in his hands and say, go run point guard.
10-point lead for Auburn. Pinson got Johnson in the air. Little separation. Nice kiss off the window.
The Auburn bench not real happy about that because Cooper goes out with his 3rd foul, but then Pinson gets away with his own chicken wing. No call there.
Pinson just 1 of 6 from the field. Remember, went for 27. Was terrific against Tennessee on Saturday. Franklin again. Right spot at the right time.
Well, great hands. I mean, these are bullet passes in traffic, but they're passes that the Auburn big men are expecting down low and finishing at a high level.
That's a foul on Javon Franklin. So Auburn back up by 10. This team dropping dimes everywhere. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is
for the E-Trade halftime report. Jordan Cornette, myself, Dallin Cuff. OU Texas, great game. Texas, though, depleted roster because of COVID. No Shaka Smart went down to the wire. Duke trying to avoid a negative milestone they have not seen in almost 40 years. What do you see here?
I see a game that's tracking in a way that Missouri can't keep up. If this one goes where it's at, it's going to be played in the 90s. Mizzou does not have the offensive firepower. However, they must be opportunistic in these final 3 minutes. Cooper in foul trouble with 3. Can they lessen the gap? Be critical to see here in the next 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
We know this team is different without Sharif Cooper on the floor. We'll see if he can manage that or he's off the floor for the final few minutes here. Let's get back to Kevin and Dane. Hope you guys have a better game than you did last week with LSU and Alabama.
Well, Dane, I think last week, Bama was up by about 25 at this point?
Yeah, but history was made, and there was a lot of three-point shooters in that game for Alabama, but Jordan's right. Not that many three-point shooters for Missouri, and that's not the foundation or the identity of this Missouri team. Just 1 for 10 from the three-point line right now, but I think they're starting to chip away here. They're getting themselves to the free throw line, getting it in down low, but got to find a way to stop Auburn on the other end, and this is a really good Missouri defense, so it's no small task for Auburn to be putting up the type of numbers they are so far.
Well, first off, congrats to Drew Smith, now 1,000-point scorer. But yeah, you and Jordan are right, because 3 times over Auburn's last 5 games, they have scored north of 90 points. Can Missouri change up the pace?
There
Tillman made sure not to miss that one. Tillman has 9.
With it. High percentage looks. Got to finish those, big fella.
4 rebounds as well for Tillman. It's a 6-point game again. The closest Missouri has been since the early minutes. Offensive rebound, kick out. Johnson offline from 3 as well. So an empty possession for Auburn. Here's Drew Smith, lets it go, puts it in, and his first 3 and first points are timely ones. It's a 3-point game again, and timeout, Auburn. Auburn once led by 14. Mizzou on a 20-6 run.
Well, penetration kills, as I said before, and Pinson does it as well as anybody. And this is a good look from 3. I mean, you got one of the better three-point shooters in Drew Smith. You see how his feet were set, got that ball, ripped it through. Cash money on the shot.
And pardon me, it's a 17-6 run. Dane, he's playing some excellent basketball, scoring more than 16.5 a game, plus the 8.5 rebounds over his last 5. 4 double-doubles over his last 7.
You know, in grade school when they give out awards for like most dependable and all that stuff, Jeremiah Tillman was not winning most dependable for the Missouri Tigers. But now he's a candidate. I mean, you know what you're going to get game in, game out from the big fella. And that's not something that Coach Martin and his staff could rely on. You didn't know if he was going to be in foul trouble or not from game to game. And he's just found a way to keep himself on the court, be productive. And you have to account for him now on the other end. And that win against Tennessee, I saw Tennessee throw 4 different matchups at him. They tried 3 different guys. They tried double teams. That's not something you said about Tillman a year ago. It was just, hey, let's put one guy on him. He's not much of a factor on the offensive end. Draw a few charges. We'll get him on the bench in no time. But a different player now for the Missouri Tigers.
Can I ask you what your superlative was in your senior yearbook?
Oh, man.
Most entrepreneurial? What was it?
Yeah, I don't know. Most likely to, you know, I was kind of like the green ribbon guy. Yeah, I was always getting like team before self awards and most improved and all that stuff. It was always like, hey, you try really hard. You're not that good, but you try so hard. I got a lot of those type trophies at home.
It sounds like you should have gotten the Mr. Dependable award as well. We've got some turnovers here, and after the foul, it's the sophomore from Georgia, Jalen Williams, at the free throw line.
The game from Missouri, number 4, Javon Pickett.
This is a great point. Since Sharif Cooper Dane has sat down with his 3rd foul, it's a 9-4 Missouri run. They're back within 4 after trailing by 14.
Not so much of a surprise, really. I mean, he's added, about 10 points per game to this Auburn offense as he's come on board. But even before he got the fouls, I thought Conzo Martin sent a message or whatever it was at the 8-minute mark. And they got the ball with a nice look into Tillman inside. They started playing their style of basketball, and it's been the Missouri Tigers ever since.
Tillman was rescued by Smith. I don't think that hit the rim, and, well, didn't matter because Pickett beat the timer anyway. 2-point game. Auburn's once 14-point lead is dwindled down to 2. Thor has been lethal from deep today. Smith dives, and he gets whistled for the foul. Slid right underneath Alan Flanagan.
This starts off with good defense by Pickett, and there's no way if you're a Missouri player and that ball's in front of the bench in front of Conzo Martin and you're not diving. I mean, you could hear Conzo Martin screaming for that dive, and Mitchell Smith knew what to do. And you'll live with that, even if it leads to a couple points at the free throw line, if that's the type of hustle you're going to play with.
This Missouri team embodies that toughness that Martin pleads for. They've got an old soul. It's an experienced team. The oldest in the SEC. Looking to stretch its win streak to 4 straight tonight. And stay near the top of the SEC. Pickett on the turnaround. Thor rips it away from Smith. Shot clock is off. Pickett jarred it away. Pinson, 2-on-1, keeps it himself, can't lay it in. 15 seconds until half. This is Flanagan. Cardwell sets the screen. 2 to shoot, Flanagan, step back 3. Auburn with a 4-point lead at the break. And with Sharif Cooper sitting down for the final 5 minutes, all things considered, that run could have been worse. Missouri does end it, though, on a 19-9 run. Trails by 4. Good second half is coming up next. But first, let's go to Dallin and Jordan in the studio.
Thank you, Cap.
Inside Auburn Arena, it's the Auburn Tigers with the halftime advantage over Missouri with Dane Bradshaw, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. We thought this would be a tight one, Dane. It was kind of a game of runs. Auburn looked good in the first half, that opening period. Missouri came back in the latter stages.
Yeah, Auburn really played the style of play they wanted to in the first 12 minutes with Missouri not showing much resistance. Auburn was getting wherever they wanted. They were sharing the ball extremely well. In that first half, they had 10 assists on 13 made baskets, which is what makes them so special when things are clicking. However, Coach Martin adjusted, said, hey guys, calm down, let's do what we do, pounded inside to the big man, and Jeremiah Tillman started to impose his will on the Auburn Tigers in the paint. But everybody knows it's not just about the big man. It's Missouri's backcourt, led by Xavier Pinson, as he put his head down, got himself to the rack, to the free throw line, and that's what has allowed Missouri to claw back into this game.
Tillman with the 9 points. Cooper, who sat for much of the finishing minutes of the opening half with 3 fouls, 5 assists, 7 points. And you see where the momentum was seized back. Missouri ended that half on a 19-9 run. Yeah, you saw the banner, of course, on the outside of Auburn Arena. The Tigers get to say they were a Final Four participant 2 years ago. By the way, Dane, just a moment ago you saw it. Sharif Cooper on the sideline getting stretched out still, and that is the marksman, Mark Smith himself, who drills his first 3.
This is a big problem with Cooper on the bench there. Maybe he's a little tight, I don't know, but Javon Pickett from Missouri may have had the play of the game in the first half, just with his defense drawing the charge on Cooper that got him to the bench. This is a guy right now, Auburn is +9 with him in the game, and you can see what the score is without him. So he's the most valuable player on the court for both sides.
Auburn was once up by 14 about midway through the first half, and now Missouri back within 1. Tillman, and realizes I can go up with it, battling for the loose basketball. Might have traveled, and he did.
But even then, good patience by Tillman down low. He's not lowering his shoulder, getting the charge. They trust when the ball goes into him in the paint.
Tillman has yet to pick up a personal foul. He's blocked 3 shots, now 4 of 7 from the field. So with no Cooper, a second Auburn turnover on its 2 second-half possessions. Pinson on the pull-up. Rebound to Cambridge. And so, Dane, it's Flanagan who runs the point. Look out for Devin Cambridge.
Cambridge very familiar with the starting role, so he gets the nod here in the second half. Played well coming off the bench when Cooper was inserted in the lineup, but plenty of experience for 35 and white.
Johnson, Williams, Flanagan, Thor, and Cambridge, the 5 for the Tigers. No Cooper, and Mark Smith with 2 baskets to start the second half.
He's such an X factor for Missouri offensively. Got off to a really hot start to start the season, a little sluggish afterwards, but if he can get going on a consistent basis, they go from a good offensive team to an almost great. I won't put them that high in the category, but they got a lot of weapons on the court.
Boy, Auburn had a cutter open on that prior possession and another turnover. So 3 for the Auburn Tigers in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Auburn trying to keep rising. It's won 3 of 4 after an 0-4 lead start. Smith watches that one bounce through. First lead for Missouri since it was 1-0. Auburn on its heels, trying to change momentum, and Williams got that one partially blocked. Mizzou on the move. to Tillman. Back with the right hand, scores it. From 4 down to 4 up in a matter of minutes. No Sharif Cooper and all sorts of problems, Dane. A 10-2 run for Missouri right out the chute.
Yeah, how about that for a start to the second half? Picking up where you left off, the Missouri Tigers, and Drew Smith with a little pin down, feeling comfortable. Number 12's got his Missouri Tigers trying to steal another road win.
It was on Saturday in its win at previously 6th-ranked Tennessee. One of the 5 Quadrant 1 wins this year for Missouri. And, you know, what's a Q1 win? That's just another word for really good wins. And the more Q1 wins you have, the higher your seed will be in the NCAA tournament. To see the wins against Oregon, Illinois, Arkansas, and Wichita State, this would be its 6th. It would tie Missouri with Gonzaga for the most of the country. But Dane, here is Sharif Cooper back on the floor. Missouri has gone on a 21-9 run since Cooper sat down with 3 fouls with 5 minutes to go in the first. And a wild shot is another miss for the Tigers.
Well, it's not to take anything away, because I think it's been as much about what Missouri has done as it has been Cooper on the bench. But Auburn just is not going to be able to compete with this Missouri team without their star point guard in the lineup. He's made such a difference to them all season long.
Now, Mitchell Smith has made a very nice difference in today's game. The redshirt senior from Van Buren, Arkansas, with 5 points. Look at the offense, the difference in production with the 5-star superstar on the floor. And during the first 11 games when he was not eligible to play just yet.
And we know the effect, but you got to hope if you're Bruce Pearl that, hey, you can withstand him being in foul trouble for a few minutes. But this Auburn team just was not able to handle that adversity with the point guard going out. And other guys are going to have to step up. And don't forget, this is an Auburn team that, yes, they've done a nice job of winning on the road, but they thrive at home. This is one of the best home environments. So without a capacity crowd, which Bruce Pearl says the crowd's worth about 10 points to us, and you don't have your star point guard on the court due to foul trouble against a really, really good Missouri team, you see what happens.
That was a great point. You asked him about it. He was very honest. With this crowd, this place usually filled, we get 10 extra points. They could use it. They're down 5. By the way, you just saw a moment ago Cooper immediately making the difference. He set up Cardwell, and he gets 2 free throws. Might not get the assist there, but Cardwell was put in a nice spot. Missouri beat Auburn a year ago out in Columbia, Missouri. Pinson and Drew Smith combined for 56 points. They were excellent. It's Pinson again. 5 to shoot. Pinson. No. 2-on-1 if Flanagan can get it to Cardwell. Sharif tried to bounce it off of Drew. Here comes Smith. Got it, and the foul.
Well, when
difficult shot.
When you got 3 bad passes in a row on a fast break, that's probably going to lead to an easy bucket on the other end as the Auburn Tigers try to lob the no-look behind the back, and you do that against a veteran team. Drew Smith's going to say, I got this all day, and 1 for Missouri.
Now Anthony Grant's Dayton Flyers at it again. Denied what would have been probably a lengthy trip in the NCAA tournament back in March. Drew Smith at the line. After making a layup, he was fouled trying to complete the and 1. He was terrific this past week in the wins against South Carolina and Tennessee, the SEC Player of the Week.
He is not disappointed. He certainly exceeded my expectations. When Conzo Martin talked about, hey, this Evansville transfer is going to be so good, he's going to be a difference maker in our program. And yeah, all players look good kind of in their sit-out year, and they're on the practice squad, and they got the green light. And then when they get eligible, it's like, oh, you know what, they weren't quite as good as I thought. Not the case for Drew Smith. Better than advertised, and Conzo Martin was onto something when he preached just how good this Evansville transfer was.
They really did strike gold in the transfer market. 2 years at Evansville. He's got his degree. He's finishing up his final year of college. He wants to be a financial advisor. Another foul on Missouri. So 3 fouls on Pinson. Missouri once down 14, up by 7, and continues to lengthen the lead. Cooper on the drive. Tillman slapped it. He'll get credit for a block. Cooper on the baseline. And with the shot clock at 2, there's a foul inside. So Auburn gets bailed out by the whistle.
They're doing a good job right now because they're forcing Cooper into the paint, but they have the help coming without leaving a wide open teammate for Cooper. I mean, Cooper is driving, his head is at the rim, but he's also looking for his teammates. And if I'm the opponent, I want Cooper in there trying to finish amongst the trees instead of dishing amongst the trees for an easy 2.
Here's Thor, lines it up, knocks it down. That's his 3rd triple, back to a 4-point game.
The same look that he made a 3 on early in the first half, just that screener step back, a staple of Bruce Pearl's offense.
Easy offensive foul call on Mark Smith.
And the second one of the game for Cooper. Really good job playing aggressive defensively, knowing you have 3 fouls, can't put those hands down for a hand check, showing your chest, gets the call.
A freshman from down the road in Powder Springs, Georgia. With 7 points, make it 9, 5 assists tonight. Auburn back within 2. Drive and kick. Tillman lost it.
Well, I've challenged him to finish amongst the trees, and he can do it all, man. This little guy, you can't keep him out of the lanes. You got to cross up over one of the best defenders and then go up against one of your top rim protectors and just lay it off the glass. And it's just night and day what this Auburn team looks like with and without Sharif Cooper.
It's incredible. He missed the first 11 games. The NCAA ruled him eligible to play on January 9th. What does he do? His first game in the Auburn jersey, 26 points against Alabama, nearly topples the Crimson Tide that day. You know, we asked him earlier today, how in the world were you ready to seamlessly jump back in? He didn't have much of an answer. He goes, I don't really know how I've done it. I just feel very fortunate that I was able to stay really steady and mentally strong, having to be away from the team, not being allowed to practice. And he's looking like, forget about just freshman of the year, looking like a player of the year candidate in the SEC.
The more honest answer would have been, I'm just better than everybody, but the humble freshman took the high road.
7-0 Auburn run. Smith can't respond. Here he comes. That's almost a wise foul. Not really, though, because it's the 16th foul on Missouri. Pickett delays maybe the inevitable of what could be coming here. So they'll inbound it on the baseline. Or make it on the sideline part. Remember, the Big 12 SEC Challenge is this Saturday. Excellent matchups, a couple of top 25 battles. One is Kansas and Tennessee at 6, a rematch of last year's meeting. And then immediately afterward, 5th-ranked Texas and Kentucky both are looking to avenge some losses tonight. Alabama and Oklahoma, another top 25 battle. That's at noon on Saturday. Missouri needed that. Pickett gives the Tigers a 2-point advantage again.
And Cooper knew he was in no man's land and just started screaming for the help. He literally surrendered on defense and said, come help, but it didn't come quick enough.
With the left hand, almost was able to scoop it in.
Check this out. I guess you give him a pass for this. They're going to get the post century on Cooper, and he realizes he's in trouble, and he just says, come help, I'm done. That's about as safe as you can play it for Cooper.
Cooper to the line for Auburn.
And Pickett with the heady play, and help could not come soon enough.
Yeah, he gave up about half a foot there on that matchup.
Does not take him long to make up for it, though, does he? I mean, what? He gives up the 2, and 5-6 seconds later, he's at the free throw line getting it back. He'll live to fight another day. Probably a smart move by the high IQ freshman.
Drew Smith, right hand, that one erased. Akingbola has swatted 3 tonight. That's the 9th Auburn block. Drew Smith says, I'll take it from a few steps back this time. That's a foul on Auburn. Missouri will keep it.
And they have made it a purpose to try to post up Sharife Cooper, knowing he's in foul trouble and also knowing there's a size advantage there. But the help has been there. Akingbola, as you mentioned with the swat, this is an Auburn team that blocks 15% of the shots opponents take. They are long, they're aggressive. They don't necessarily get the steals that Bruce Pearl teams of the past get that lead to transition, but they've got rim protectors throughout.
Taller team compared to the recent iterations of Tigers basketball the last few years. Pickett on the up and under, and that's a clear goaltend. I don't know if that one was going to even reach the rim, and Akingbola got a little, or make it Jalen Williams a little overzealous.
And the respect Konza Martin has for Sharife Cooper is that they're going at him. Javon Pickett is not primary option for the Missouri Tigers. But if Cooper's guarding them, they're going to say, you know what? I don't care who our best offensive weapon is. You got it. You take it. Let's see if we can't get another foul.
Reach-in foul.
Foul number 4, Javon Pickett. That's his 3rd personal foul. And
3rd foul on the junior from Belleville, Illinois. Who's such a reliable guard off the bench. The unsung hero, makes a lot of the hustle plays. Cooper back at the line where he has 7 of 9. He's got one more. So who does he remind you of just the impact that he makes, the playmaking abilities of Cooper as just a freshman?
It's not the exact same, but given his size and stature, it reminds me a little bit of Tyler Ulis at Kentucky, where he just always seemed to make the right decision. Could score on you, could facilitate. I think Cooper's a little flashier, but Ulis could defend you 94 feet, had the speed. And I've just loved seeing some of these smaller guards be the best player on the court. And there he is with a 3rd drawn charge of the game, making former Tiger Jared Harper proud. Cooper getting all in the Missouri Tigers right now.
Rapid fire with Sharife Cooper. All right, let's do this. Favorite basketball player?
LeBron James.
TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Dream car?
Lamborghini or Rolls Royce truck.
Do you want a game-winning layup, or would you rather have a game-winning alley-oop?
Alley-oop.
You played high school ball with Isaac Okoro, number 5 NBA draft pick. Who was Batman? Who was Robin in high school?
He was Robin. I was Batman.
True or false? You have fallen asleep in Bruce Pearl film sessions before.
Nah, I sit in the front. I can't. False.
All right, there you have it. Not only a good point guard, but an honest one and a good student of the game. Thanks, Sharife.
spoken like someone who has fallen asleep in one of those film studies back in Knoxville back in the day.
No, Cooper knows the secret. You got to sit in the front row right next to Bruce so his volume keeps you up. He can have some long sessions in that dark film room, man. And, Cooper hadn't been eligible too long, so that doesn't mean his time's not coming to doze off a little bit. Fun kid. I laughed, as he said, Isaac Okoro, the number 5 draft pick, was his Robin, so he's respectfully extremely confident. I don't blame him with that type of game.
Wildly poised as well. Tillman has some free throws coming. He is a big reason why Auburn, once down by 7 earlier in this half, has things knotted up again. Dane, how would you describe his impact on this game in particular?
Well, when you want somebody on the court that makes people around him better, there's been no better example I've seen in the SEC, even in a short amount of time, than Sharife Cooper. He gets his team easy buckets. He's a pest defensively. He's taking more pride on that end. And he is plus 13 in this game. When he's on the court, Auburn is up 13 points. So that right there shows you all you need to know. I will say this, Missouri has been better when they come out of timeouts and they say, we're going to get that ball into Jeremiah Tillman. A good look there for Conzo Martin.
1 point lead again for the visiting Tigers. Tillman may get credit for his 5th block.
And I like it. I think you've got to stay attached to the post teammate if you're Missouri. I would rather see Sharife Cooper make tough twos all day as opposed to dishing out easy twos.
Drew Smith swipes it away. Lays it up. Pickett, no, he can't tip it. Missed opportunity for Missouri. Cambridge bounces. Akingbola. Blocking foul. The sophomore from Nigeria has some free throws. Wild sequence here.
Yeah, no question. Drew Smith does his part, gets it off the glass, and Pickett, who's played a nice game, misses the bunny there. A little bit out of control for Auburn, but get themselves to the free throw line regardless. Good job by Chris Moore. Freshman number 5 has a season high 8 points in 9 minutes. Kind of an unsung hero of this game, if you will, because the other guys are struggling. When you look at Johnson and Flanagan, they're combined 1 for 13. Those are scores you typically rely on. So as much credit as we give Sharife Cooper, Chris Moore, the role player, has stepped up under the radar.
Dane, it feels like Missouri getting some of its similar looks at the rim, just struggling converting, shooting 37% from the field. And getting a battle from the Auburn Tigers. Mark Smith. Rebound to Williams. Cooper. Lob it up. Cambridge.
You run with him, he's going to get the ball to you and reward you. Cambridge with about his 20th alley-oop recipient of Sharife Cooper.
That's a foul on Auburn after the Kobe Brown miss.
And you can see Drew Smith, the defender from Missouri, knows it's coming. He's like, do I stop the ball? Do I stop the oop? And Cooper's like, I'm not going to throw it till you come at me. And when you get an athlete like Cambridge, where you can throw it late and he's still going to get it with ease, that's a highlight every time.
Drew Smith kicks out. Pickett. Full head of steam. We're tied. Halfway mark of the second half. Missouri, after rising to 12th in the country, trying to stretch its win streak to 4, looking for its 5th road win here in Auburn. Chris Moore got another 3.
Call that the hammer pass. When he drives baseline, get to that corner, he's going to be looking for you, and a left-hand pass there. This pace is starting to favor Auburn. And yes, Javon Pickett's going to get a nice highlight here. I mean, he's played a really, really solid game for Missouri. A reliable veteran guard. That's about as easy of the two as you're going to get, but finishes with authority. And then with the left, baseline drift. Chris Moore, we were just complimenting the way he stepped up tonight. Knocks down a big corner three.
Number 10, JT.
That's his third triple, a career high 11. When Auburn has needed someone to step up, Dane, you mentioned this earlier, Jamal Johnson, Alan Flanagan have struggled to score, and Moore providing a huge boost, well above his season average. One-point game. Auburn has yet to knock off a ranked team this year. Everything seems to be aligning right now for the Tigers at this point in the season. A lot of momentum. And with a three-point lead, Cooper, wow.
I mean, what do? You take away the pass. He's that quick, and he just lays it up one-handed off the glass against the biggest defender you got.
15 points, 7 assists. He's nearing his third double-double in 6 games. Now Tillman. Pickett, difficult shot. Cardwell with the board. Here he goes again. That time, good deflection right at the rim. Smith, head fake and drive. Smart move, but another block. It's the 11th Auburn block, and it's JT Thor this time. Look who's open, Thor. Moore trying to keep it alive. That would have been assist number 8 for Sharife Cooper. Here's Drew Smith for 3.
Boy, they needed that one. I mean, Missouri was really struggling offensively. And they can win a game. I mean, that's their DNA. Keep these games under 70. They've had 19 straight games where they've held opponents under 80. And they've got to keep it that way if they want to win this one on the road.
The Wizard, 17 and counting.
What Coach Pearl tell us, they said he's kind of like a quarterback. We just try to block and give him space to go make a play. And that's what they do. Get Cooper in a position to be successful and let him go.
Sights on the end zone. Rolls through.
This kid's putting on a show.
Tillman working on Cardwell. Turnaround. That's through. Exciting one inside Auburn Arena. Cambridge. 2 free throws coming. Sharife Cooper. 19 points, 7 assists. He's got 12 in the second half. His Tigers lead it. One of the players we'll see in that SEC Big 12 Challenge, the rising star of this league, Dane, Sharife Cooper.
Well, we talked about it. He's a facilitator and also a scorer, and so when he starts just throwing lobs on you, you want to take that away, no problem. I'll just go in here and get my floater game on and give it to you whichever way you want. Tough twos at the basket. Cooper's putting on a show, and I was just texting with the godfather of the SEC network, Dari Noka. He said, imagine what the jungle would be rocking like right now if you could have full capacity. I mean, we miss seeing these crowds, and Cooper, Bruce Pearl talked about the crowd being a +10 for him. And if Cooper's playing like this, they might be a +20 with the way the crowd would be on their feet after this performance.
I was just going to say, I don't know if Missouri would be this close. About all those stars, Cade Cunningham, Jared Butler, Moses Moody. Star power abound this weekend for the challenge.
Yeah, that's a big deal, and the challenge, was all about the Big 12. And then the SEC became more and more competitive to where now they've split the last 40 games. Be curious to see a lot of toss-up matchups coming your way Saturday.
Here he comes again. No look to Cardwell. And it's a blocking foul before the shot. Auburn, though, is in the double bonus. And so the freshman from Augusta, Dylan Cardwell, is at the stripe. 6:29 to go.
Dylan Cardwell to the line for Auburn, shooting 2.
On Thursday, remember, big women's hoops game. It's a top 25 battle. 4th-ranked South Carolina and 21st-ranked Mississippi State. Thursday at 7 on ESPN. Our good friends Courtney Lyle and Carolyn Peck giving us the intel. Aaliyah Boston, the SEC Player of the Year candidate for USC. A big top 25 battle on Thursday. 6 ties, 2 lead changes this half. And Missouri down 6 once more. Torrance Watson, who's barely played today, puts one up. It's another empty possession. Cooper's fingerprints all over this game. Gets another whistle. Daney's going to take his 12th and 13th free throws. Pinson fouled out.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a problem for Missouri is the consistency of Xavier Pinson. He was public enemy number 1. When we talked to Bruce Pearl about Missouri guards, he said, they've just given us such problems. We could not keep Pinson out of the paint. He gets himself to the free throw line. He destroyed Tennessee the other night in their road win. But he certainly had the attention of the Auburn Tigers scouting report, in which they were able to hold him to just 2 for 11 and just 4 trips to the free throw line.
So Missouri's leading scorer on the bench for the last 6:01. Can I challenge you to try to answer this question with any other answer besides Sharife Cooper? How is Auburn made up a 7-point deficit and lead by 8 at this point?
Well, they're also getting stops. Look, they're holding Missouri to 36% field goal shooting and 25% from three-point range. So Missouri's going to have to throw the ball in the dang ocean, because right now, if they get themselves further behind, I'm not sure they have the firepower to score quick enough. So if you're Conzo Martin, you got to say, guys, look, there's a lot of time left in this game. We do not have to press and shoot quick shots. Do what we do, get the ball inside, get to the free throw line, where they got there 14 times in the first half, just 5 in the second so far, and slow this game down.
Tillman, 2 of 5 at the stripe. One more gets it back to a 2-possession game. With Pinson on the bench, it's Drew and Mark Smith, Drew Buggs, Javon Pickett, and Mitchell Smith. Auburn led by 14 around the midway mark of the first half. Fell behind early in the second, but have made up ground in a big way. That's consecutive possessions. Cooper has gotten that call. He's got 2 more free throws coming.
It's just trying to, how do you keep them in front of you? And you know, maybe a touch foul there with a little bump. But if I'm Coach Martin, I start to look back at what Arkansas did in the second half against Auburn, where they just sent a double team at Cooper every time the ball was in his hands. Make him give it up. Yes, Bruce Pearl and Auburn have prepared for that now that they've seen it. But still, what else do you have to lose? Try playing 4-on-3, let the other Auburn guys beat you, and throw that double team at Cooper and see if that can change things. It's been a long time since Missouri's been able to get consecutive stops.
23 points for Sharife Cooper, 13 of those from the free throw line. Tillman, close range, and a rebound down to the freshman star.
See, I send a double team. This is what Arkansas did. Just leave your man and go get him, make him give the ball up.
Kick to Thor for 3. There's a stop Mizzou needed. Smith into the paint, floats it up. Foul, heading to the line. And that's the 4th on Sharife Cooper now.
Big play. He's done a brilliant job of playing smart on the defensive end, not getting any charges, but that time Drew Smith returns the favor. Again, I don't really agree with either call against Drew Smith or Cooper, but they're calling it both ways with the small chest bump. And Cooper saying, well, you know, what else can I do? I'm playing with my hands off, open chest. They got him for the 4th.
Smith, the unflappable senior, now 7 of 7 from the stripe. He leads all Missouri Tigers scorers with 18. You mentioned it. Jordan Cornette said it before, that 80-point mark. It feels like an important number. The closer Auburn gets to it, it feels as if it may be an insurmountable number for Missouri.
And if you're an Auburn fan, you might be saying, you might be saying, why take Cooper out? I know he's got 4, but we can't afford to have him. The media timeout's coming up on the under 4, so can Auburn just hold this lead, give Cooper a breather, buy a little bit of time, get yourself to that final media timeout.
Cardwell nearly turned it over.
And that's what offense looks like with Cooper on the bench.
Oh, my
goodness.
Smith, pump fake, squeezes through 2, and he scores it. 5-point game.
Really good response by Missouri, but this is where 22 and White Flanagan has not had much of an impact on this game, but one of the most improved sophomores in the SEC's got to make a play for this Auburn team so they aren't so dependent on Cooper.
In the paint, lefty layup, that falls through.
Well done by Flanagan. Stay in attack mode.
Auburn trying to rank off its first ranked opponent this year. Cardwell, foolish foul. Tillman with free throws. When we come back, they 3-possession lead for Auburn.
The reigning SEC Player of the Week. He's not trying to let go of that ranking. Drew Smith, a little up and under amongst the big men, trying to mount a comeback.
Now it just feels like the stars are beginning to align for Auburn. A 7-point lead over Missouri with 3:25 to go, trying to knock off its first-ranked foe this year. Dane, this club has won 3 out of 4. They've got this dynamic, explosive scorer in Sharife Cooper. They're almost about to eclipse 80 points. It would be the first time Missouri has allowed that to happen in 20 games. This Auburn team is going to keep climbing up the SEC, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, the difference has certainly been Sharife Cooper, and I continue to follow the plus-minus that Auburn is plus 21 when he's been on the court. I mean, that is such a huge number in what is an otherwise close game. And so Missouri, number one's got to find a way to get the ball out of his hands on the other end. And if you're lucky, find a way to draw that 5th foul on him as soon as possible.
Missouri with its 6th miss at the free throw line. Cooper has got to find someone and just barely beat the 10 count. Smith jars it away. Up ahead to Pickett. Timely steal and bucket.
Drew Smith just all over the place. He's bailing Missouri out on the offensive end and the first on the floor every single time defensively.
21 points and 2 steals for Drew Smith. He's guarding Sharife Cooper. That shot wiped away by Tillman. Well, not so fast, says Missouri. Chance to get it back to a 2 or a 3-point game. Mark Smith for 3. Down and out.
It's a good look, good shooter.
Cambridge, Flanagan, blocking foul. And that is the 5th on Mark Smith. He becomes the 2nd Missouri starter to foul out.
And Cooper was just a little bit sloppy to start this whole possession, and Drew Smith, nobody's going to out-hustle him. Pickett does the rest. So that's one way to get it out of his hands. And really back-to-back possessions of good defense from Missouri as they swatted the alley-oop attempt away. But just unfortunate. Smith unable to get that open three-point look to go. And then a foul on the other end, what could turn out to be a 5-point swing.
Smith and Pinson have both fouled out, 2 starters. 2 double-figure scorers, Pickett, Tillman, and Drew Smith, all with 3. The only players with foul trouble for Auburn, Sharif Cooper and Dylan Cardwell each have 4. But it's now a 3-possession lead again for Auburn, 2:25 to go. Drew Smith has another block. Oh, back-to-back rejections.
Wow. Devin Cambridge comes out of nowhere.
Drew Smith harassing Cooper. Frustration. 13 blocks by Auburn tonight.
One of the best teams in the country in terms of blocks. And you get one here, and just when you think you have a bunny, Cambridge just with the quick hops. I mean, that's just he didn't have a run and jump or anything. Feet set, just a straight vertical on Jeremiah Tillman. That could end up being the biggest defensive play of the game if Auburn can hold on.
You've referenced Missouri's ability to attack the paint, get close range looks, and get to the free throw line. The block, not just Sharif Cooper, a major factor for Auburn's 9-point lead. 13 rejections tonight for Auburn. Count it, and Tillman has a chance for one more.
Well, that's a good start for the comeback. Get the and one, easy bucket inside, knock down your free throw. And you know, I was just about to say, with Missouri down 9 there, I think they're going to have to basically put up a shutout on the defensive end. I'm not sure they have more than 9 points in them with 2 minutes to go, but a chance to knock 3 of those out of the way here with this free throw.
Another miss. 7 misses at the stripe for Missouri. What a challenge tonight it has gotten from Auburn. Flanagan, the eruption at the rim.
Oh man, is that not Auburn basketball? Just when you say kind of go in prevent mode, it's like, no, let's stay aggressive.
Pickett hits the 3. Okay, Alan Flanagan, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there saying pulled out by clock, and Flanagan's like, no, I feel like I got an open lane, and boy, did he ever. I think Missouri was waiting for that to come down to the final seconds of the shot clock, but if you got the easy 2, Flanagan, do your thing.
Auburn up 6. Can it close it out next?
And now a mini meditation. Inhale serenity. Exhale whatever's happening here. Now bring your focus back to your customer, Tom. Salesforce Customer 360 helps you focus with a single view of your customer. Like Tom.
Who's Tom?
Alan Flanagan with a key 6 points over the last couple of minutes has Auburn ahead by 6. Sharif Cooper has been a wizard again for Auburn. 25 points, 7 assists. His Tigers are a minute and 34 away of knocking off their first-ranked opponent this year, trending in the right direction. He was ruled eligible by the NCAA on January 9th. Auburn 3-2 since, looking to make it 4 out of 6 with a victory tonight against a typically stout Missouri team on the defensive side. What another impressive evening for Cooper. 6 to shoot. Drives. Hesitates. Lost it. Williams has to let it go. Rebound Tillman. And that may be a foul. It is on Williams.
Yeah,
and Jeremiah Tillman has free throws.
Yeah, you just can't compound one mistake with another. You got to get that hand out of there. Don't reach in the cookie jar. Cooper goes in the lane. He gets the defense in the air, and Williams thought he was going to shoot it, whereas Cooper was trying to spoon feed it to him. Caught off guard, just a sloppy finish to that possession, leading to 2 free throws. Where Tillman is struggling so far tonight.
Empty possession. Pressure in the backcourt.
It's nothing. I mean, Jeremiah Tillman, he can make those. We've seen him get hot from the free throw line, but when you miss a couple, it starts to get mental, and I don't think there's any question that's had a big influence on his performance from the stripe.
Dane, Missouri has missed its last 6 free throws. Bruce Pearl told us this team started league play 0-4. No complaining, no moping. They knew Sharife Cooper was coming eventually, and they may close out their 4th win over their last 5 in about 48 seconds, though they need to a little better defense than that. That basket makes it a 5-point game. It's Auburn ahead by 5.
Yeah, if you get a defensive stop there, you can probably ice this game, but really poor transition as they gave up a wide open 3. Lucky that didn't go in, and then Tillman, nobody boxing him out.
Yeah, really easy week for Auburn. Ranks Missouri, and then you go take on the undefeated Baylor Bears, the 2nd-ranked team in the country. Bruce Pearl said, hey, it's a great week to learn and grow from challenges. They may have half the work done tonight.
Yeah, Baylor's got the #1 offense and #3 defense in the country, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll be really anxious to see how Sharife Cooper plays against one of the top defenses in the country, because Missouri certainly no slouch, and he's been having his way. You just can't stop him. He's so good with the ball. And you put the ball in his hands, good things are going to happen. He's a facilitator. Outstanding vision, his feel for the game, his IQ. I have not seen him make many bad decisions, if any at all, in this game. He's got stuck in the paint a couple times, but 9 times out of 10, you can trust him with the ball, going at the rim, in the paint, finding his teammates, or scoring himself. And he does it in such an unselfish way. It's not as if he's going for the home run every single time. It's just when the ball's in his hands, you're going to get an open shot.
Plus, he scored 25. His 4th 20-point game. As Jalen Williams heading to the line, just a 50% free throw shooter. And Missouri hoping that he keeps the door open just ajar.
Yeah, that's one area where Sharife Cooper's going to have to learn. I know you're trapped in that corner, but when you get that ball, split the trap, make them foul you. As good as he's been at the free throw line, don't be so quick to give it up to a 50% shooter. But Williams answering the challenge on that one.
The secret's out, no question. Williams nails them both. 3 possession lead. And Missouri needs a quick score, maybe a hoist. Watson, that one blocked. Incredible performance, JT Thor. 4 blocks, 13 as a team for the Tigers.
He's been steady all game. Offensively, hit 3s early on to get Auburn in a rhythm, and defensively, several blocks in this game. And that one, that's just a wingspan for you right there. JT Thor, as Auburn inches closer to the upset victory of a really good Missouri team with arguably the best resume in the SEC for an NCAA tournament bid outside of Alabama.
More SEC hoops tomorrow, Dane. Doubleheader on the SEC Network. Vandy at Florida starts at 6:30. Ole Miss heads to Fayetteville to take on the Hogs at 8:30 on the SEC Network and also on the ESPN app. I think you said it. It was after Auburn scores 90 points against Alabama 2.5 weeks ago. You better have bought the Auburn stock at that time because the price is rising.
There's no question. Sharif Cooper is such a difference maker, one of the most exciting guards we've seen in the SEC. And it's one of those things where, yes, the tape is going to be out on him a little bit more.
So what happens now?
But how do you scout the speed? Like it's not as if, okay, yeah, look, he really favors his right hand. Let's force him left where he shoots, 25% less or whatever it is. You can't teach or scout this type of speed. And so you've got to have an elite one-on-one defender and certainly have a game plan where you've got to help the helper because whoever's guarding Cooper is going to need help, so you better help that guy.
A few seconds are put back on the clock. It continues to roll inside of 30 seconds. A blocking foul on Drew Smith. And Sharif Cooper, 15 of 17 at the stripe. Heading back to the line. Less than 29 seconds to go. It only feels as if it's inevitable at this point.
Good effort there by Smith, and that's close. I mean, Drew Smith, as good as anybody, is drawing those charges. He fouls out of the game, but Drew Smith, one of my favorite players in the league because this guy gives you his all. The Evansville transfer has been such a difference maker for this Missouri program. Gives them everything you want as a leader on the offensive end, the defensive end, the locker room. And this Missouri team's not going anywhere. This is just one loss for them, but this is every bit of a top 15 program right now.
Auburn 34 of 42 at the stripe tonight. 8-point lead. Bugs to Watson. Someone has to put it up. Brown, the stuff. You don't want to have to foul him. He's been automatic at the line. 16 of 17 from the stripe. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Dane, that expression has remained unchanged. Excuse me. You can see the unflappable, poised nature.
Yeah, and the way he was able to control this game while avoiding that fourth foul for so long. He got it a little bit under the 5-minute mark and has obviously been able to withstand getting a 5th foul. But for him to play as aggressive as he did, as smart as he did, and not have to go to the bench was the difference in the game.
Another record for the freshman. 18 free throws made is an Auburn program record for a single game. Tillman with the stuff. It's just a footnote now. Sharif Cooper, the real deal, leads Auburn to the upset win tonight over Missouri. The Tigers with their first win against a ranked foe this season. 28 for Sharif Cooper. 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He was a wizard tonight, Dave.
When he's off the court, Auburn's average. When he's on the court, they can beat the number 12 team in the country. Sharif Cooper all over the place. Again, did not pick up that 4th and 5th foul or that 4th until late. This Missouri Tiger team, one of the hottest teams in the SEC, but just had no answer for the speed and playmaking of Sharif Cooper.
Next up, number 2 Baylor. See what happens this Saturday down in Waco. Glad you joined us tonight. Auburn, a winner. For Dane and our entire great crew, I'm Kevin. Coming up next, the Kobe Bryant Sports Center special. Good night.